Ain't done a video for a while, but I've had to come out to the log cabin because this is a rant video. See you in a minute. Well, hi folks, haven't seen you for about probably 3 weeks now. I've had a break, and the intentions was to come back after a break and really get into doing the videos again, getting things moving. As you know, I said in I think it was one of my last videos, not the last Reliant video. I think it was the last rant video before that, September sometime, where I said we got something planned or whatever, or something's going to be coming up, and I'll be able to tell you in October. And we're now obviously in October, but let me just give you an update as to what's really been happening and why this is going to probably turn out to be a rant video. First of all, I don't know if you noticed in the last Reliant Regal video that I'd done, where we installed the seals into the axle, I did actually realise it when I was doing it, but I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything at the moment because I'm going to have to just order some new ones, and then I'll tell you in the next video. But Dan Clift, who does a lot of work on Reliant Regals, he saw it and he pulled it up, so I've had to come clean on that, which I was going to do anyway in the next video. And you probably see that the seals went in the wrong way. If you look closely at the way I put the seals in, that is the wrong way for them to go in. That was the ones on the end of the drive shaft, in the little outer drive shaft seal, and also the one for the prop shaft seal went in the wrong way. I actually took them out again and redone them. Didn't bother showing you that on camera, but as I say, I was going to put that on the next video anyway. This is now the next video, so it's not a Reliant video, but it is the next video. And also what I noticed as well, and that's where it's handy to have a set of micrometers, because you never know that the work that's been done before to a vehicle or to anything, things were right. So it's not a matter of just taking something out and then replacing it per se, thinking that what was put in before was the right thing. When I took the inner seal out, and once I measured it up compared to the new seal, the inner seal was actually the wrong seal that was in there, and it was actually letting pass. When you measured the internal diameter of the seal with the gauges, the calipers or whatever you want to call them, then they were totally different sizes. Internal diameter, the outside diameter was the same, but the inner sealing edge diameter, which has got the lip on, which is supposed to snugly fit around the shaft, that was the wrong one. So anyway, I found that out as well. So that's another thing I found out as well. I'm still waiting to put the axle back in. I was using some of the old parts, like the adjusters for example, and on closer examination, these were the old adjusters here, which I just like painted up for example, and they've got these little seats in there for the brake shoes to sit on. Well, in this one there was one missing. This one was there. That's what they are, little pivot bits basically. They sit in there, but of course I went to fit the rear brake setup with all that, and one of them was missing, so I had to order a new set, which I've got. They're actually fitted now. As you can see, there's an elastic band holding them in. These are basically ready to go back on, but I was going to start fitting these yesterday, and I also brought a new set of brake calipers, as you probably know, and they had the rubber protective dust guards, or whatever you want to call them, on the back of them, with the little metal clip that curved in to hold them in place, and there should have been another metal clip in there as well, and one of them was very floppy, so anyway I've had to reorder them, so I couldn't carry on with that. But as you can see there, the axle's now all been painted and it's all ready to go back on, so I'm happy with that. I'm just waiting on the little plates to come for the rear axle, so that I can fit the actual calipers anyway, so that's going to be okay. That will be coming up. You probably won't see that. The next video I do on the Reliant, you probably might see this getting installed. So we've been also getting some stuff together. You may have seen that compressor that we had in our September rant video. Well, I'll enlighten you at the end of this conversation, but first of all, just sort of let you know that we've tried to have a break as well, but we get lots of emails every week, lots of messages, lots of comments to answer, and that physically takes time out of my day anyway, and you know, that's something I do. I take that on. Sharon doesn't do that. She does all the t-shirt stuffs and all that, and all the mug printing, so I try not to get too involved in that. But if we get some orders coming, which we've had, from people who want logos or something designed specifically for their t-shirt, then we have to go to the situation where I have to actually go into Photoshop and start doing stuff. Well, I had problems with Photoshop recently, As you know, I had a new PC which I had to buy because the other one packed up, and all the hassle I had with that. But I'm not going to go into that right at this moment in time. But I've got more issues with the computer, which I'll tell you a bit later on as well. As I say, this is a rant video, so I'm going to be ranting. And one of the things is going out and enjoying yourself and having some fun. And we've been doing a lot of that recently, like just going out having meals out or whatever. And we was out and about somewhere. I don't know where it was exactly. How people are conditioned and how people are dumbed down now, and they can't make a decision. They're not intuitive anymore. I don't know what's been going on here, but people now are totally different than they was 20 years ago or even 30 years ago or longer, when people used to be able to make a decision. I mean, I used to remember going into part shops. I think I've mentioned this before in other videos, where you could go into a part shop back in the 80s when I was working on cars, and we used to have an account with a local motor factors called, I think it was Tony Allen's. Those of you in New Malden, you might remember Tony Allen's Motors years and years ago. Been there for years and years. I don't know whether they're still there now. We stopped working with them in the sort of 80s, whatever. And we used to go and work on a mass of totally different cars. Mobile, we had like a transit van. We used to go around and like service vehicles, do repairs and stuff like that. And used to be able to go into there and say, right, Ford Escort, blah, 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 brake cylinder, rear brake cylinder for a 1300 Escort or whatever, Mark II or whatever. And without even looking at the book, because they had loads of big books on the counter of all the different manufacturers, Brembo, Europart or whatever, and they had loads of different parts of the books on the counter. But he used to come out, or not only him, well, they pick one person, they all used to say, oh yeah, that's part number 642981, blah, blah, blah. Or if there was an updated part, they'll say, oh yeah, you can't use that one now. You'll probably find it better if you use this part now. This is an uprated one, or this is one from a different manufacturer, slightly different fitment, but it will do the job a lot better. And you used to get that all the time. And it used to amaze me that these people were so sort of fluent with knowing their job, and they was the ones doing the serving and also the ones taking your money at the till, so to speak. So this sort of thing used to happen, and used to be common knowledge in most shops and stuff like that. You go into a camping shop, for example. Sharon used to do a little Saturday job in Millets back in the early 80s, 1981 I think it was, something like that. And used to go in there, the manager used to say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so tent, that's worth that, blah, blah. And they used to know exactly what was what in the shop. We went into a shop the other day to go out and just have some lunch. I can't remember what it was. It was one of the supermarket chains. I can't remember exactly which one it was. And they've all got these cafeterias now, as you know. They're all lovely decorated. They're all lovely eating, open plan areas and all that. Anyway, I just thought to myself, I want a pie. I don't want nothing else. I just want a pie. So we goes up there. You got the old blinking serving counter. You've got all the stuff in there. You've got lovely pictures of all the food on the walls there. And we all know 9 times out of 10, the food pictures that are on the walls looks nothing like what actually turns up on the plate. Anyway, so I bypassed all this and I went up to the lady on the till and I said to her, I see you do all this. I said, can I just have a pie, please? And she looked sort of vague and gormless at me. She said, well, I don't think so. I said, well, you've got pies up there, look. Oh, that's pie mash and peas. Oh, I don't know, I'm going to have to check, she said. Anyway, she walked out the back. This other oik, all I could say is an oik, come out. He had the hat on, he had the uniform on and all that. So he's dressed to impress, so to speak, for the company. She says, this gentleman wants a pie. He went, can't do it, I'm afraid. We can only do pie, chips and peas. Oh, I said, leave it, let it go then. I said, well, how about, can I just have a portion of chips then? Or fries if you're in America. He said, no, we can't do that. He said, all we can do, we can do your sausage, egg and chips. Leave it, I said, I'll have that. So I ended up having blinking vegetable lasagna, which looked nice, but when it come back, it was about that flat. Obviously just put in a hot microwave or whatever. Anyway, cut a long story short, all I'm saying is that these people working for a big corporation couldn't make a decision. Oh yeah, that's a pie. Where's everything gone? Where's it all gone? You can have something off the set menu, and that was it. You can't have an individual pie. You can't have this, that, the other. Unbelievable. These people, can't believe it. Anyway, so that's just one thing. People are crazy nowadays, or they're so blinking dumbed down. Us common sense people like you and me, we still do stuff, as you know. We don't rely on what these big corporations tell us we must do, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that's another story. I'm fed up with them. They're getting on my nerves now. I try to rule that stuff out of my life as a rule. In other words, there's very few things in life that I have to have external influences which control me. One of the things is like car insurance. You can't do anything about that. It's the law. You've got light, electric, gas, water rates, things like that, telephone contracts, TV licensing in the UK. There you go, that's another story altogether. But these are the external things to keep on the right side of the so-called law that you have to sort of contribute to. So things have really changed over the last 30 or so years. It makes you wonder why, doesn't it? Anyway, that's another story. I don't want to go into that either. Right, so anyway, last weekend we had a break away. And as you know, we've been doing loads of stuff. We've got our grandchildren. A lot of them have not been well. They've loads of colds and viruses and stuff goes out. What's up with viruses nowadays? What are these things that you get nowadays? They're not like a cold or a cough or a virus that you used to have 20, 30 years ago. I keep mentioning about that time period, but that's when things sort of changed. We're all having these injections now to sort of prevent colds and viruses and stuff like that. They don't prevent them though, and they give them to people who are weak or whatever, or they've got sort of conditions which their immune system could be compromised. And at the end of the day, surely putting this extra stuff in them is compromising their immune system even more. But anyway, that's another story again. I'm not going to rant on about that one. Anyway, so yeah, so we decided to have a break, which was for Sharon's birthday back in August. Our kids brought us a trip, or Sharon a trip to Whitby for a couple of days break, which was well deserved and well wanted, I'll tell you that. But same old thing, you know what it's like, something's going to go wrong. I think it was the day before actually, and we went to start Sharon's car up and it wouldn't start. So you know I've had a new starter motor in it. I've done plenty of videos on when I took the DMF out and the cool. Anyway, so normally with a flat battery, what happens is you turn the key and you get the old brrr clicking noise with the old solenoid clicking or whatever. Well, all we was getting was one click. Now, one click to me sounded like listening to it. It was the solenoid clicking on the starter motor. But anyway, now I've got to go and do some checks. Now I know for a fact that I've put a new starter motor in that back in December this year. So I know that should be okay, although you can't take anything for granted when you're trying to fault find. You have to go through a methodical process to find out exactly what a problem is. So our lovely neighbour who lives up the road, she knows absolutely nothing about cars whatsoever. You know who you are. She comes up to me and says, "Oh, I've got the bonnet open." I said, "Oh yeah, we've got a problem with the car here." And she don't know. She just said, "Oh, is it the alternator?" No, it's not the alternator. You don't really know, do you? Well, perhaps it's the battery then. Well, it could be. I said, but I don't know because I'm going to have to check out. I'm going to have to find out. So, 2 random comments from somebody who basically doesn't know what they're talking about, and you know who you are if you're watching this video. It's a female, by the way. What I did first of all is get an extension lead out. I left the car out the front where it was because it was parked in a right awkward position, and lifted the bonnet up, and I've done it before and it's worked, but all I've done was clip the battery charger onto the car without disconnecting the battery. Left it overnight, come back the next day, opened it was going to be charged up, took the battery charger off, nothing. Same one click. Thought, well, okay, what I'm going to have to do is obviously disconnect the battery and then connect the charger directly to the battery without the car being connected. So I've done that for about 6 to 8 hours. Later on that afternoon, I disconnected it. Exactly the same, nothing whatsoever. So it's pointing to the battery. So what I thought I'd do then, just as a backup, I'll pull the neighbour's car in, who's got a brand new car, by the way, so it's a known good battery, and I've got a brand new set of jump leads, which are heavy duty jump leads. So I pulled her car next to our car, connected it up while it was still connected to the car, our battery, and then told her to rev the car, and then again, didn't want to know, no sign of life whatsoever apart from the one click. So then I thought, what I'll do, I'll disconnect our battery and just jump it from her car directly onto our battery leads. So basically what I've done is I've put a brand new battery on, her battery via the jump leads, onto our car like battery clamps with no connection to our battery, so it won't act as a sink. It still didn't want to know, full stop, the engine still wouldn't even turn over. So now it's pointing not to the battery because I've just proved to myself that battery is directly connected to our cables to our car, and that wouldn't even turn it over. It was just the same click. So now I'm thinking, have I got a problem with the starter motor? Now the starter motor on our car has got the solenoid bolted directly to it. And anyway, cut a long story short, I thought I don't really want to take this starter motor out. It's just before we go away on holiday, and I know that I've put a new one in back in December, and surely that's got to be alright. Anyway, I took it out, which was a right pain. If you remember, I had to get that blinking fan cluster out of the front of the Mondeo. And anyway, that was another story. I got it out, and then I put it across just wired the starter motor up, so because it still could have been a problem with the wiring, you see, with the to the starter motor to the battery terminal, so to speak. So that's why I wanted to isolate the starter motor and connect that directly via the jump leads, the same jump leads, to the battery or my battery. So I did that, and basically nothing. But when you read the battery readings on the voltmeter across our battery was 12.6 volts, which is fine. And then you look at the little glow thing. If you look on certain batteries now, you've got a little light, an indicator on them, which glows up to show that the battery's fine. And this gives a light, bright neon glow, and that means the battery's okay. So now I'm thinking, is my battery charger faulty? So I don't really know that, so I come in here, check the battery charger, that appears to be charging okay. So now I've got to go to the next step, and that is to check that the starter motor is okay by putting it on a good known battery, which was our neighbour's car. But I'd already done that, as I said, via the wiring system, because the wiring system, I said, could have been at fault when it was actually installed on the vehicle. So this time I took the starter motor, put it on the side of her car, right next to her battery, connected up the jump leads, checked the solenoid come across lovely, fantastic. You can see the little geared cog wheel go across. So then I've got a thought, well, maybe that the solenoid might be alright, but there's contacts inside the solenoid which activate the starter motor itself and get that start spinning. So you have to short that out to the big terminal on the starter motor. So I shorted it out, sure enough, fired up lovely. So that's it, proved it. Proved exactly what the problem was. The problem definitely was a faulty battery. But we had so many forced things along the way, what I've just told you about. Anyway, the neighbour comes walking along then, doesn't she? She says, oh, have you found it? I says, yeah. She said, what was it then? I said, it was the battery. I said that! I said it was the battery! Unbelievable. Taking the glory without knowing. You get people like this. They take the glory. Oh, they make suggestions. I said, well, what about the alternator? You also said it was the blinking alternator, didn't you? You've forgotten about that one, haven't you? So anyway, cut a long story short, 93 quid that cost me. Put a new battery on, put the starter motor on, woof, absolutely fantastic. But I had to go through that procedure, and this is what makes you laugh when you get people come up and say, oh yeah, finger pointers. Oh yeah, oh that's probably the battery, or that could be the starter motor or whatever. But they don't know the procedure for going through the checking scenario, and at the end they're willing to take the glory. I said that, that's what it could have been, I told you it was that. Unbelievable. Fault finding is an art, you've got to do it a certain way, and you've got to just, 9 times out of 10, go through a set procedure of things to find out exactly. Sure, I could have guessed and said it was the battery, but when I jump-started the car from her battery, directly onto the leads without our battery as a heatsink, and that still didn't want to know, it's not pointing to the battery anymore, is it? Anyway, that was that one. So we had our little break in Whitby, fantastic place, Whitby, never been there before. It's up on the east coast of England, looks out onto the North Sea, very, very hilly. And what happens when we're on our holiday? Sharon gets ill. We was there only for a couple of days, 2 days, Friday night, Saturday night, and we come home Sunday. And of course, Sharon gets this blinking chest infection, which all the rest of the family's had. Lucky enough, I've avoided it up until I had the touchings of it when we got back, but that's only with a headache and feeling like crap, fatigue, totally drained. Next day I was fine, but yeah, so Sharon wasn't well, and it was, of course, it's so hilly, up and down. So we went to Whitby, we done a good walkabout there, some lovely places there to eat and walkabout. Literally, we just parked the car up, and we just literally walked all over the place. Sharon posted a few pictures on Facebook as well. I didn't bother because I haven't done anything social media wise. But on the way there, we was following my daughter because she went to a place up on the east coast as well for a week's holiday, I think it was, or maybe 2 weeks. I'm not too sure anyway. But we followed her up. When we got to Hull, my sat nav decides, we was literally about 34 miles past where she was up the coast. But the sat nav, when we got to Hull, our sat nav decides to take us through Hull city centre. I should have really followed them, but I didn't. I thought, oh, we'll go with the sat nav because we are in a different place. It put nearly an hour on our journey. Now, this is another thing as well with these bloody sat navs. You've got settings on them, and a lot of people say, oh yeah, you know, a lot of them are set for avoiding tolls, because when we went to Hull, we had to go over the Humber Bridge, which is about 1.4 miles long or whatever, and it's a toll bridge, £1.50 you have to pay to get over that, by the way. Anyway, so we went over that, and that's when we it started taking us a different way. Now, my sat nav has got 2 settings for how to get to your designated place. You've got the quickest route and the shortest route. Now, what is the quickest and what is the shortest route? I mean, surely that depends on where the traffic takes you. If the shortest route takes you through town centres, then it's not going to blinking shortest route doesn't matter, does it? So really, you want the quickest route then, surely. And you don't know whether the quickest route takes you through town centres instead of going around a long way. But that might, I don't know. So anyway, cut a long story short, I altered the setting back to the shortest route. But we had it on the shortest route before, and the reason why I took that on there is because when you live out in the country like we do, it was taking us down little single track roads, which are obviously still public roads, instead of going on the main roads. It was cutting all through, and that ended up making our journey longer. That's why I changed it over to the quickest route again. So I don't really know what's the best for quickest or shortest. Let us know what you think underneath. If you're like, some of you might be drivers out there who use sat navs all the time or whatever. What's the best? Is it quickest route or shortest route? Let me know, because I want to set mine up correctly. If you live a bit further out of cities, for example. Anyway, so we've had all that. So as I said to you, we've been. This is rambling on a bit, I know, but this is what's been happening, and which is why I've not been concentrating on doing any videos on either of my channels. So what we've really been concentrating on over the past month, I suppose. I'll give you a little bit of feedback before that. We was going to sort of move our stuff out into a unit, me and Sharon, because we was going to move our gear into a bigger unit and start working out of a unit, you know, for the t-shirt, mug printing stuff, all that sort of stuff, and other stuff as well, which I do, rather than having it around the house. And then we had the idea that maybe it could be a good idea to perhaps set Jimmy up and get Jimmy going in his own unit. He's just come out of his exams. He's done his apprenticeship now. He passed loads of stuff with distinction, which is very, very good, and we're well pleased with that. So he's got that behind him now. He's got distinctions in a lot of the things that he passed for his vehicle painting and stuff like that. So we had a little chat with Jimmy, and literally within the last sort of couple of months, I said to him that it'd probably be good if you actually set yourself up now and start building a business up. You're at the right age to do this now. You've got me behind you as well, so you know, and I can sort of do the stuff that will help you out and stuff like that, get you going and give you advice and like get all the stuff together and all that. So anyway, that's what we've been doing. So Jim is going to be starting up in business. We've had to wait. We've found premises now in a nearby village, which is about 6 miles away, and we got the unit. We picked the keys up tomorrow for the unit, so we're going to be getting in there tomorrow. And as a result of that, as I say, we've been ordering all the stuff and all that. Jimmy's finished his last day at work now. And that's the reason why I really couldn't say anything beforehand, was because obviously Jimmy been working for the same company for over 3 years now, which he started since he's left school. And I don't think they were too pleased with him going, to be honest with you. There was a bit of an atmosphere at work with him, but I mean, he's come through that now. At the end of the day, he's only doing what they've done. They're a father and son routine as well, apparently. And it's something they've done, obviously, and they've been doing for a few years as well. So anyway, that's out now. Jimmy's now out now, so he's got his own business to go forward with now. That's what the compressor was for, and our house is now full of all stuff, gear and all that for his new business, which you'll probably see in a few videos coming up anyway. So yeah, Jimmy is going in business. I'm going to be there helping him, so I'm going to spend a lot of time, or dedicate a lot of time now to helping Jimmy out, and we're setting the business up. So that's what's happening there anyway. So now we need another break. So as a result of that, I've been building websites and stuff like that, and been waiting indoors for parcels to come in. You know what it's like waiting for parcels. They don't give you a specific time. A lot of these companies, it's between 9 AM and 5 PM, and you have to wait in. But because we've been doing a lot of running about, we went out yesterday, a couple of days ago I think it was, went out a couple of days ago, and we missed a parcel. We missed one parcel from a company called DPD. Anyway, as you know, I've been having lots of issues with my PC. They all got sorted by Brytech09. Brian, thank you very much, Brian. My daughter-in-law asked me to scan something yesterday, and you remember I had a problem with a scanner, and I went to scan something, and it said, oh, can't scan to this file or whatever. So I thought, oh, here we go again. I've left that as it was. Then I had a problem with Photoshop. Photoshop wouldn't let me open up a certain text program or whatever. I thought there was a bit of a problem there. Anyway, today I've gone to do something on a new website which I've been designing for Jimmy, and I looked in my pictures folder, I looked in my documents folder, and there's masses of stuff in there which was in there, which has all been changed, been converted. Anyway, cut a long story short, they had a file .odin at the end of them. I've gone online and found out what it was. I've got what they call ransomware, and I did warn us about this in the last Rant video. My video has now been my PC, my brand new PC, which I've had all the trouble with, has now been infected with a ransomware program, which has encrypted a lot of my files on my PC that I can't gain access to. I've only found this out because Brian did warn me about this ransomware. And I've only been caught now twice in 10 years of a virus on a PC. And this has come through an email attachment, and the reason why it came through an email attachment, and the reason why I probably opened it, I don't remember opening an extension in this email, but I think I know the email. I looked online, and it said they normally come in this ransomware. It's called the Locky ransomware virus, LOCKY. And what it does, it normally comes in an extension from a parcel delivery company. This is what they normally do to fool you, from DHL or another one. And I remember opening an email, because as I said to you, we missed a parcel. I haven't missed a parcel for years. We missed a parcel, and that was from DPD, but when I got on my computer and we saw a note outside the door, I had an email there from DHL, me thinking D something, and the initials. I've opened it, and when I opened it, nothing happened, and I thought, shut it down quickly. So I just shut it. I didn't open the extension, I just opened the email, and it just sort of went white, the page. So anyway, I shut it down quickly, and I didn't think nothing more of it. And I've only just realised it was DHL instead of DPD once I found out I've got this virus. So that's when I've started finding out that I've had this problem. So at the end of the day now, I've got a ransomware file on my computer. What it does, it infects you if you open this email virus, and they're normally from parcel delivery companies or something like that, and they've normally got an attachment with them, and it normally will probably tell you, you've missed the parcel. Sorry, you were out when we delivered our parcel. And you'd 9 times out of 10 click that, open it up, and that's exactly what's happened here. But I didn't open an extension up, I just opened the email, and that's very rare, I think, because I'm always very dubious. Don't forget, I'll get emails from all over the world, all over the country, and I've also got antivirus, McAfee antivirus software on there, so even that doesn't stop it. And my antivirus software is not even showing up this problem, so there you go. So I've got to speak to Brian again. I've just sent him a message on Facebook, hope he sees that. If not, you might see this video, Brian. I need your help, buddy, seriously. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get this video up and edited. So there you go. So that's what we've had going on. This has turned into a little rant video. It's not a little rant video, it's a big rant video. So I've now got to sort this out, so I don't know when the next video is going to be. Hopefully I'll do some filming of us moving into the new unit and doing stuff like that. Our house is, like, as I say, like a workshop, storage centre at the moment. And yeah, that's been the reason. So anyway, I'm going to leave it here now, because I think I've been going on for long enough. And I'll see you again in the next video. Hopefully get the Reliant Regal axle back on the wheels, maybe in the next video, whenever that. It should be hopefully shortly. But do bear with me. I'm still here, still about. That's the reason why there's not been many videos up, or in fact no videos up whatsoever, on both of my channels as well. So I'll see you again in the next video when I should be a bit happier. And until then, bye for now.